Hey everybody, welcome to the Errant Venture. I'm Adam,
I'm Steve.
and we have a really great topic today. We were actually talking about this a little bit earlier, and we were wondering if Luke Skywalker was actually a Jedi. And so we were talking about it a little bit, and we were like, I just trying to get other people's opinions. So we actually did a poll about it, which we're going to go over in a little bit, about what you guys think the answer is. But I think before we do that, we do need to talk a little bit about the timeline
All right.
because that's always an issue. And for so many years, everybody's like, how long was he on Dagobah? How long? So I actually did some research on it. So we have, and I did some research like how long it is between the movies, and then I went and looking for how long he was on Dagobah.
If you were able to find that information, you did a much better job researching than I did.
I was able to find it. So we have from Quora.com and Screen Rant between episodes 4 and 5 was about 3 years. And then, according to them, between episodes 5 and 6 was between 1 to 3 years. Now, I did go on to Wikipedia, which is like, for
Wait,
those of you who don't know, I guess you're not a Star Wars fan, but seriously though, for those of you who really don't know, Wikipedia is like Star Wars fan encyclopedia.
it's like the Wikipedia for Star Wars.
Yeah, and everything on it is considered canon. So they have like a section for canon, but then they also have a section for legacy. So according to Wikipedia, between episodes 4 and 5 was 3 years. Between episodes 5 and 6 was actually 1 year. So that's, as far as the timeline, between the episodes, that's where that is. Then I decided, well, how long did Luke spend on Dagobah? Because I really do think that to answer this question, or even to have some sort of discussion about it, we need to know roughly how long. So, this is according to Lucasfilm.
Just curious before you say that, because one of the things I did read was there was something that was announced by Lucas years and years ago as to what it might be, but that might have changed as more and more Star Wars universe has come out.
Well, funny you should mention that. Bear with me on this one. So, from Lucasfilm, and which obviously was done, years ago, a couple years ago, obviously before, Disney bought it. So, in Empire Strikes Back, he was on Dagobah for about 2 months. And then between episodes 5 and 6, he was... No, sorry, 12 months. My apologies. 12 months.
That's during the movie. He was there for 12 months?
Yes. And
so
then,
how long does the movie take part in terms of Star Wars time?
right, exactly. I guess according to Lucasfilm, it would be about a year.
Okay.
Because in between episodes 5 and 6, he was on Dagobah for 6 months. So it's a total of 18 months.
And that's one of the things that I did see, that it was broken up, that he wasn't there the whole time. A lot of people are saying, well, it was 4 years in between, so he was, and assume that he was training that whole time. But, in that time, he did have his other responsibilities. Don't get me wrong, becoming a Jedi is definitely high on that list of things to do. But, there's travel time to get places. There's things to do to save his friends and everything else that happens, as well as prepare, to rescue Han.
Right, exactly. So, but, and this is the thing. So you go by what used to be with Lucasfilm, and you get a totally different answer than now. So, according to Wikipedia and a couple other sites that I was looking at, he was actually only on Dagobah for about a month. So that's what I found out about as far as the timeline goes.
So essentially, what we have to discuss is, let's start off with, which school of thought do we want to go with? That he was in this for a year and a half, or that he was in this for only a few weeks?
Right. Every time I looked up, how long Empire Strikes Back was, the answer was always the same, which was about a month from beginning of Empire to the end. I mean, as far as the Empire Strikes Back goes, we need to go with that. After that, though, again, both canon and Wookiee, both Screen Rant and Quora.com, as well as Wikipedia, both say it's about a year between Empire and Return of the Jedi. So nothing, which is a shame, but right now in canon, there is absolutely no information, no books, no comics, nothing about the time in between Empire and Return of the Jedi. Everything is actually, no, because I think the comic books start off after New Hope.
Like immediately after A New Hope?
I think so.
I'll be honest,
You got the first issue right behind me.
I do, or you do?
No, you do.
I do?
Yeah, it's right here.
Oh, the new series.
Yes, we're talking about the new series. So we got to talk about the new series because that's in canon. If we want to talk about Legacy, that'll be a totally different answer, which we could do.
Let's save that one for a future episode.
We could do that.
But, so,
I'm assuming that it's going to take place right after A New Hope, just based on the cover. Honestly, to be quite honest, guys, I haven't read the new series in the comics. I've read Darth Vader, which does take place right after A New Hope.
So, in all honesty,
so they probably haven't gotten there yet.
I don't think we really need to discuss in between A New Hope and Empire because at the end of the day, all he had was the trip from Tatooine to Alderaan to practice, to learn anything with Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
So outside of that, we know during that time he didn't even know about Dagobah. That little.
Well, I was just talking about. I had mentioned that there was nothing that was printed, and then I had to correct myself because I remembered. Wait, there was. So I'm not sure. I don't think they're up to Empire Strikes Back.
All right.
So hopefully, Marvel, you'll get to Empire and go beyond, and we'll actually get some sort of answers to definitively answer this question. But
so I think before we actually start diving into the topic, and I want to do this because I think this will be something good to kind of make some memories come up. Not necessarily some memories, but get some thoughts going.
Okay.
I took some of the. So we did post a poll online, and we got a good number of responses, especially in a short time.
I think you said like 127.
Oh no, we're up around 180.
Oh man.
But what I did do was I copied and pasted some quotes and some comments that people left on the polls.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to read some of these, and then from there, maybe these will spark some ideas for some conversation.
Okay.
So the first one, and I like this one, self-proclaimed. Neither Kenobi nor Yoda finished his training.
And that's true.
The next
well,
one,
as far as we know. Go ahead.
I got a good one for that one later. But
okay.
The next one, no. He barely got taught by both Kenobi and Yoda. It's like I went to a monastery in China, learned the very basics, and then taught myself what I saw, read about, and watched in movies and went, I know Kung Fu. But then again, maybe my argument is more with calling him a Jedi Master. Hell, his father had way more training and was still refused the title. Next, what stage of Jedi? Padawan, Knight, Master. Next, he granted himself the rank of Jedi Master. And that's a good talking point to get to.
Mm-hmm.
I got two more. Not really. Yoda and Obi-Wan may have trained him, but they didn't teach him everything. Luke knew right from wrong, but I don't think he truly understood what it meant to be a Jedi, and I also don't think he closely followed the Jedi religion or the lifestyle. And the last one, everyone saying no obviously has never done more than look at the main story. The Jedi have been basically wiped out multiple times. Every time people have to lead whatever remains of the Jedi to rebuild. Luke was tasked with rebuilding the Jedi Order and therefore took the rank of Master. No Jedi ever stops learning or developing. Being a Master doesn't mean you have all the answers and are super strong in the Force. Just mean that you are being trusted as the leader of the Jedi. There was one more that I really did enjoy.
Wow.
And this person, I got a kick out of it, said, no, because I feel like he just paid $39.95 for the 4-week masterclass.
Son of a biscuit. That's actually what I have. So I take... So guys, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Because of my OCD and my various learning disabilities, I actually write down, I do a lot of research and I write down my notes, and sometimes I even write down things that I want to say. One of those, so I do want to read this to you. One of those that I was going to say was that, Luke just took Yoda's corresponding Jedi course, with the ad, you too can become a Jedi in 3 short weeks. So that was funny.
3 easy payments of $39.95 plus shipping.
I can see Yoda doing the commercial. Jedi you can become.
Order
of course I have.
Order in the next 20 minutes. Free Kyber crystal. Just pay for the added shipping and handling.
There you go. So, all right. First, man, those were really good comments. I love, and those are just some of them. I really want to read the rest of them. They're really good comments.
I'll tag you in the polls so that way you can review them. These were the best. A lot of them were just people arguing over, who knows more about Star Wars. And which was really great. There were some good GIFs thrown on there, some good memes, but it eventually just kind of turned into people yelling at each other.
Well, that just kind of turns in... See, that whole argument about who knows more about Star Wars really has to do with, I don't know quite how to say it, but it's like, well, all right, have you been reading the books? Have you been reading the comics? Have you been watching all the TV shows? Or did you just sit down and watch the trilogies and that's where you get your information from, and then you think, ooh, I'm an expert. So that's, and believe it or not, for those who might not know this, that is really a big argument that many people have. I'm not going to go into it, and I don't think Steve's going to go into it, but that's why that was happening. There's big, and it's not just with Star Wars; it's with everything else too.
No, and that's exactly right, and more to touch on in a little bit. But I am just going to put on record: I am not the smartest person in the Star Wars room. I am far from it. I am just a big fan. I like to think I know a little bit more than the average fan. That's probably not true, but I just love the series. It's meant a lot to me growing up, a lot to me as a person. Mm-hmm. I feel like, part of the reason why my wife loves me is because I'm such a nerd, and I owe a lot of that being a nerd to the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, same here. If I can go on record as well. So I'm older than Steve, and I actually saw Star Wars when it first came out back in 1977. I was about 4 years old. And from that then all the way until today, that's been one of the things that I really loved. I read the comics when I was growing up. I read the books when they started coming out. And I actually was faithfully buying the books. I was even reading the Young Jedi Knight series, which I actually really did enjoy. So I was reading all of those books up until Actually, I stopped like right after the Yuzon Vong War. Um, but I haven't really read a lot after Disney bought Star Wars. So most of my knowledge um,
Legends.
is yeah, it's all Legends. Um, but I do feel that I know more than the average Star Wars fan.
All right.
Um, but by no means an expert. By no means an expert.
All right. So for me, I kind of think the best way to start with this is, we learn a lot about, especially watching Ahsoka grow up, watching Ezra grow up, and just in the movies, seeing how and learning more about how the Jedi are found, trained, and promoted. And you see that they are taken from their families as kids, as babies even. And they are pretty much brought into a place where they're going to learn their trade, they're going to learn the Force, and they're going to learn this over the course of years.
Yeah.
You're talking probably about 16, 17 years before they hit knighthood
Yeah.
and take the trials. That's everyday learning for, I'm not going to do the math and the number of days that is. But that is a lot of
No, let's
days.
go here. Let me get your paper. Go ahead and do it.
Yeah, there you go. But that's a lot of days.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and as the one person put in their comment, Anakin started at 5, 6 years old and went
It was about 10 years that he trained.
yeah, and he still was not granted that title. And I know two people got into a battle about it.
Granted the title of master. He wasn't granted.
Was he granted the title of knight?
Yep.
Was he?
Yeah.
When? As far as I always knew, unless Sidious did it,
not Sidious, but I'm pretty sure it was during the Clone Wars.
Because he is always even by Sidious, he's always referred to as my apprentice.
Oh, also, another way to tell, in the Clone Wars, if you noticed,
He never had beads.
number one, never had beads, but also the Jedi generals were Jedi Knights.
Ahsoka was a general.
No, she was commander.
Oh.
She was commander.
You're right.
I just spent 2 days binge watching because I was like, you know what? I didn't finish this. Let me finish it. She was commander because she was a Padawan.
So, but back to what it takes to becoming a Jedi. That's a lot of years of training, and you're seeing it even now with Rey, that they're speeding up how people learn in Star Wars. Luke apparently learned this over months, if even months, of training without the necessary equipment.
Yeah.
He got really the backwater training. Don't get me wrong. He was taught by two of the best Jedi ever, but at the same time, he was taught in the middle of nowhere. He wasn't taught in the temple. He wasn't taught in the best of circumstances. And the one thing that people really don't allude to is Dagobah was so bad with Dark Force that how did Luke not get affected by it? I get it in the cave, he had his instance.
Yeah.
But the whole reason why Yoda went there was because the Force would hide him.
Yes.
There was so much darkness there that it would hide him. So I don't see how that even makes for a great ground for training.
Yeah. I mean, my thing is this. First of all, it's hard to, and somebody did make a point of mentioning it. It's hard to really sit there and say, oh well, they started when they were young, and Anakin only had 10 years of training, and he wasn't even that high. But it was also a different time, and it's like different training for different needs. In different times.
Well, in Star Wars, especially when you see things going back hundreds of years, the Jedi training got less rigorous.
Yeah.
It got less demanding, and at certain points, it was almost like, oh, hey, you have the Force. Especially when they had the Jedi Sith Wars, if you could use the Force and hold a lightsaber, you were pretty much got the easy street to go straight on there because they just needed the numbers.
Yeah. Well, and also, Yoda had to teach him the basics of what he needed to know in order for him to face Vader and face the Emperor. You know, but I also like to say, as a teacher myself, I know that teaching in a group is a lot harder than when you're teaching one on one. When you're teaching one on one, the attention is all on you. So if I was teaching you, let's say I was teaching you, I don't know, pick a subject, math, and it was.
Well, I'm going to summer school.
Well,
that's probably where you're doing this with me. We're in summer school.
That's fine. But if it was one on one, okay, in 1 hour's time, I can go more in depth into one particular subject in math. Whereas if I'm teaching to the group, I can't go back and, help little Johnny struggling. I have to set up another time to do that. I got to keep moving on, because otherwise, little Joey over here, who's, a genius, is going to be bored. So Luke had that one-on-one training. And not only did he have that one-on-one training, but let's face it, it was 24/7. So, 24/7, one-on-one training for at least 3 weeks, yeah, you can get farther than, training in a group for, a couple of years. But I do like the one comment that someone made is that, Luke was charged with rebuilding the Jedi Order.
And that's kind of where, where my thoughts stand. Do I think in the sense of comparing Jedi to Jedi in the Clone Wars, do I think Luke was there? No. And one of the reasons why I say that is you never see him use the Force. You see him use it on Dagobah to try to lift his X-Wing or to lift a pebble, and he can't. He can't.
We saw him on...
You saw him call his lightsaber.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, he's doing like the bare minimum. He's not... And that's the thing. You never see him using it. You never see him use his training, really, until The Mandalorian. And even then, you don't see a crazy amount of him using it.
Right.
So what you really have when you see, hey, he's going up against Vader, is I feel the Jedi kind of said, hey, we're going to prep you to be in front of your father. We're going to prep you to get to this room.
Yeah.
And he used little to no Force. Essentially, all he did was hope and pray that his father would eventually give a damn about him.
Yep.
And let his father kill the Emperor.
Yeah.
Who, in return, killed his father. So, at the end of the day, Luke, to me, wasn't the great hero, the great Jedi hero, saving everyone. He just happened to be the son of someone and be in the right place. He was a person with athletic ability who was able to hold a lightsaber and be in the right place that he needed to be in. Now, in regards to this comment, which I absolutely love this comment, they're right. There's always different stages, especially now as we're seeing the High Republic coming out. It's a completely different stage. The Jedi and the Sith have consistently gone through destructions and rebuilds and destructions and rebuild.
Yeah.
Luke was taught, in my mind at least, what he needed for the now. He was given. Then he took himself out of the picture. He went on his sightseeing mission. He learned as much as he could, but he was left essentially to rebuild it. Is his Jedi Order, if his academy went mainstream and became a bigger thing, it would be different than the original. There's no way
it would.
There's no way it would have been the same. Maybe it would have been that master class.
He had a lot of the books, because I'm guessing Yoda had some books.
Those are the last books of the archive. Everything else from the Jedi archive was destroyed.
Yes.
So
yeah, but he had some books, so he was able to read what the Jedi used to do. But then again, like we're saying, it's up to Luke to decide. Hey, this isn't going to work for us right now. A Jedi can't have any attachments. Yeah, we can't really, concentrate on that too much. He
might not have liked people stealing kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Child trafficking is a pretty big law out here. Just saying.
It's a big no-no. You should not be doing that.
Don't steal kids and stick them to work as Jedi.
Don't.
But
no matter how cute they are, don't.
But and that is the thing. He was charged with making it himself. Now, if it were me to look at things from the outside, I still kind of view Luke as a Padawan when he's stepping up to his father. And depending upon how you look at it, for whatever reason,
In Empire or in Return of the Jedi?
to me, really in all of it.
Okay.
And some of the other comments that were out there were kind of saying, well, Palpatine completed his training. And some people do take it that way. And, once again, that's an iffy spot right there.
Completed Anakin's training or Luke's?
Completed Luke's training. Because essentially it was, take your lightsaber, strike me down, and your training will be complete. He took his lightsaber, he made the move for the strike, but was stopped by Vader. Now, whether that is...
I think that's a bit of a stretch.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
But, so to me, I think he finished Return of the Jedi. He was still in the place of a Padawan. Someone who knew enough, probably knew about the same as Ahsoka if you watched the Clone Wars cartoon movie.
Yes.
So then following that, now he's in this whole reform stage. Now he can sit back, relax, meditate. He has what you would assume is Obi-Wan and Yoda to help him.
Right.
And you would also assume that, Qui-Gon might be there to help him. Maybe as a voice.
In voice only, yeah.
But, hey, it's Liam Neeson. He'll be there.
He has the skills.
Exactly. So I think that at this point, he's like a Padawan, but he's a Padawan who gets to write the book of what everything in the future is going to be. I think in his meditation, I think in his training with Force Ghosts, he's going to learn a lot. I think in his exploring, and as he matures into it, he's going to learn a lot.
Yeah.
And some of this might be in books. Some of this might have already been put out there. I know we're hopefully going to see more Skywalker growing up now, following Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
But I think eventually he goes from being a Padawan straight to being a master because he is now the creator of the new Jedi.
Okay. I do agree with you in that when he meets Vader in Empire Strikes Back, he is a Padawan. By the time he meets him again in Return of the Jedi, again, given the fact that there is no other Jedi out there who stepped up, because there were Jedi out there.
Well, see, at this point now you got to go back and say, do we want to look at this as if it's 1980, or do we want to look at this as if it's 2021?
I would say 2021.
Okay.
To be honest.
We just changed a lot of what I just said.
But I do, I do feel that, going back to what I was saying, is that when he meets him in Return of the Jedi, he's closer to being a Jedi Knight. I don't know. I would say he's not exactly still a Padawan, but he's not exactly a Jedi Knight, a full Jedi Knight. I think he definitely was a different person when he met Vader the second time. And like you're saying, hopefully we get to see him growing more as a Jedi and learning more now that, we don't have the Empire anymore, or, at least as big as they were. And hopefully, some rumors are true and they are coming out with a Skywalker series, because I would love to see that in there. I think that really needs to happen.
It definitely would fill the gap in between Return of the Jedi and what you see him do in The Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, and honestly, I think the only reason why he would be considered a master is because, nobody else came forward. So really, as far as Luke understands, he's the only one. So it's kind of like he's a Jedi Master by de facto.
So correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
My understanding is you don't become a Jedi Master until you take a Padawan. I forget the character's name in High Republic. He never took on a Padawan. He was an ancient Jedi, but because he never took on a Padawan, they never gave him the title of Master.
Anakin took on a Padawan. He was not Master.
I feel like that was more just like, hey, watch this kid and teach him something. And she did call him Master, or Anakin.
And they,
But
she did say Master a bunch of times, and they always referred to Ahsoka as Anakin's Padawan.
I just think it was meant to keep him out of trouble. Didn't work. She was too much like him.
Yeah. Oh, that's definitely true.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Although I kind of think it was them not giving Anakin the title of Master goes to them just not trusting him.
Well, and that's what it is. I think what happened with Anakin is that, he was reckless. He was going through his training. He was showboating. He was very cocky. And I think essentially what they thought was the only way we're going to really teach this guy, and remember, he's thought to be the chosen one. They're not going to throw him away.
Yeah.
He's thought to be the chosen one, to bring balance.
But they want to knock him down a couple of notches.
Exactly. They want to give him responsibility. They want to humble him. And they feel the best way to do that is to give him responsibility. And now they give him Ahsoka, who is not only someone for him to have to teach stuff to, but she's just like he was.
Right.
So it's almost like he's going through what Obi-Wan was going through. And in some cases, it did mature him. In other cases, it was his kryptonite. So I do think that's where that was he a master? No, I think they just found a way to humble him because at the end of the day, she would report to whoever she was told to.
Yep. But I do like your thinking in that in order for you to become a master, you need to have an apprentice. I do like that thinking. I don't know if that's exactly true as far as in canon goes, but I do like that thinking.
So, like I said, I read the first High Republic book, which was a good book, and it shows a different age of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. But the one thing is there's a character in there who's an older Jedi, and the only reason why he hasn't been granted the name of Master is because he refused to take on a apprentice. Because when they take on an apprentice, it meant, okay, when you're a knight, you can do whatever you want. You can do self-missions. You can do and have all the freedom of a Jedi Knight. But when you take on a Padawan, you have responsibility. You have training. And he didn't want to do that. At the end, because he helped win a very big battle, they allowed him the title of Master without taking one on.
But that can also go back to what we're saying before. A different age.
Exactly.
So in the High Republic, it could have been, in order for you to be a master, you need to take on an apprentice. But in the Republic era, it could have been something different.
This is true. So. They really... there's so much literature out there, and determining what's legends, what's canon, what era is this from, what era is that from. It's kind of like trying to find information on certain things that barely made an appearance in there. And that wasn't necessarily brought into light except for, you can be on this council, but we do not grant you the title of Master.
That's outrageous. But, no, I mean...
and by the way, I just dropped the mic on Anakin being a Master. That came from Mace Windu.
I know. Yes. But with Samuel L. Jackson does it.
I'm not using words.
Totally different.
Yes, this is true. No, but we want to keep this as PG as possible.
Listen. Sam Jackson can turn around and say, "Have a nice day," and it would still be a mic drop.
Oh, yeah.
But, I anything, so you were saying about trying to figure out what's canon and what's not, and that there is a lot of stuff out there and it can get confusing. However, actually the answer is very simple. Anything that came out after Disney bought Star Wars is considered canon, no matter what it is.
And I understand that. But even since Disney has bought it, there's
a lot.
There's a lot. And
There's a
don't
lot.
get me wrong, I've read a lot. There's still a lot I have not read.
Yeah. But it was like a previous conversation we had where they literally, there's so much stuff out there that they are starting to contradict each other.
Exactly.
But, in the case of Luke, it is a different time. The needs are different. It's not, back in the old Republic where, there were a lot of Jedi, so there were different steps that you had to take. Here, there is no Jedi, there is no Republic. It's, as far as he knows, it's just Luke. So he's got to learn the basics in order for him to survive calling himself a Jedi.
There's...
So,
there's
I think in that regards, then yes, he kind of would be a Jedi Knight. But like we were saying before, I personally kind of feel that he was kind of not exactly a Jedi Knight, but close enough to it.
So, and here's where, and this just popped into my head. So, there's actually someone we can compare this to, that I think kind of answers a lot of his questions.
Okay.
We can directly compare him to Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus was still a Padawan when he left, when he was chased away from the Jedi Order.
Yeah.
And he went on the run, and then he took on an apprentice, while still being a Padawan, technically. And he didn't pass his trials until he met with the temple guard inside the temple on Lothal.
Yes.
So he did a lot during that time. I believe he fought Vader. I believe
he did.
He fought the Inquisitors.
Well, he fought all the Inquisitors. He fought Vader.
So if you think of all the trials and tribulations that he went through before he went through his big trial that let him be called a Jedi, to me that means Luke still was not there at Return of the Jedi. And like I said, that Kanan to me just popped into my head. That's a perfect comparison.
Yeah, he was more of a Jedi than Luke was.
And even with having a Padawan, it was a Padawan teaching a Padawan.
Yes.
And still, Ezra would call him Master.
Yep.
Or Kanan.
True. True. Question just popped into my head.
Sure.
So, if Ahsoka pops up during the rebellion, especially the early stages of the rebellion, and was pretty active, where was she during the whole thing, during the rest?
Well, once again, that goes back to the comment I made before. Are we looking at this as 1980, or are we looking at this as 2021? Because if you got to think,
right,
if we're looking at this as 2021, you have more Jedi out there. You still have Cal Kestis out there.
But we can't look at it from, and I'm just thinking about this now, we can't look at it from 1980 because in 1980 there wasn't much out there that told us about how things used to be.
True enough.
So in that regards, yeah, he was a full-on Jedi back in 1980.
This is also true. And, once again, it goes to show, as things age and as you throw more and more stuff at it, you can see a lot of the lessons learned, a lot of the parts of the original trilogy that we grew up loving so much have now either mean nothing, have been retconned so much that, it's a stretch to even think of what it could be now. Mm-hmm. I'm still laughing at the fact that they retconned the dude with the facial hair to be Rex now. I think that's great, and which makes me think, hey, did they design Rex's facial hair in Rebels to specifically look like that guy?
I always forget which guy it was, though.
The only guy kneeling with facial hair.
I still draw a blank. I don't know why.
I'll show you after.
You know what? But then again, actually, this is what I want to say because we're talking about, things being retconned and everything. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what Marvel says. you can go pound sand, Marvel. Darth Vader killed the Emperor because he was protecting his son and had nothing to do with his own greedy ambitions. There, I said it.
I didn't know that was up for debate, but I will agree. Obviously, during Star Wars, especially before Disney bought it, there's lots of instances of where Vader wanted to take the throne.
Mm-hmm.
And especially if you ever get to play Force Unleashed, it's all about him having a hidden apprentice in order to defeat the Emperor. But no, at the time in Return of the Jedi, where he throws the Emperor off the balcony, it's because he sees his son wiggling around like a dying animal to the Sith lightning, and he decides to save his son.
Yes, because that's what the entire original trilogy was about.
How to kill your father.
Or, as we like to say, the redemption of Anakin. But yeah, sure, let's go with that.
The whole trilogy, what's it about? It's about who's your daddy.
Oh, alrighty then.
So, want to go over the poll results before we continue?
Let's go with the poll results.
All right, so before we go over this poll was posted in several locations on Facebook, and we did get 177 people contributing to the poll.
That's really good.
From multiple sources. That's a lot more than I expected. I wanted this to go originally for a week. It went for, I think I posted around 9 o'clock last night. I pulled it around 7, so about 22 hours.
Yeah.
So we got a grand total of 177 people. 164 people said yes, Luke Skywalker is a Jedi. 12 people said no, Luke Skywalker is not a Jedi. And one person said, I don't know.
I'd want to talk to that one person.
I'm sure they have something interesting to say.
Yeah.
Or they don't know what.
So if that's you, please contact us. I really do want to know why. I don't know why that answer came.
It's funny when I was putting that in the poll, like the I don't know option. I'm like, no one's gonna pick this. No one's gonna pick this.
Somebody picked it.
I just wanted there to be a third option, and one person picked it. So once again, that is 93% said yes, 7% said no, and this is all rounded, and less than 1% said. So yeah, I was very happy with.
And the ones we really want to hear from are the
No, I would even want to hear from the ones that say no.
Yeah.
I know we got some good comments in
Oh,
here.
don't get me wrong. I still want to hear. I really want to hear from everybody because I love listening to people's opinions and their reasonings. I'm the type of person, if you can give me a good enough reason, then you sold me. Because I like thinking logically. So if you can give me a logical reason, all right, yeah.
So, once again, we did get 7 no's.
Yeah.
And just looking at this, I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I got 4 people right here with their reasoning for why they said no.
Okay.
And once again, that's neither Kenobi or Yoda finished his training, that he barely had any training from them, and he watched kung fu movies, that he granted himself the rank of master, and that even though he was trained a little bit, he only knew right from wrong, but did not have the proper understanding of what the Jedi were. And once again, that is where Luke can go back and say, hey, I didn't have to know what the Jedi were. I had a mission.
But he had to know patience.
He had no patience. And the hope is that he got it because even, like I said, even in what you see, I don't necessarily think that patience is something to be learned in a Jedi sense. I think, hey, as he grows up and matures, he's going to get more patience. I'm sure you have a lot more patience now than you did before you had a kid.
I can guarantee you that I have way more patience now that not only that I've had a kid, but that I'm older. You know, I have a lot, and I have a lot more patience, and there's a lot of things I see, a lot of my coworkers who are way younger than I am, at least half my age, and they're talking about things that they're really passionate about, And I'm sitting there going, that's not really that important, right? You know that, right?
But
So, yeah.
but that is the thing. He was taught what he needed to know for the mission at hand.
Yeah.
And honestly, if he never went and made a Jedi Academy, would the universe be any better if he just said, "Okay, I'm done. We're done here." Obviously, there wouldn't be any more movies. We would need more material. But I think at the end of the day, he did what he was trained to do.
Actually, I didn't think it really mattered.
It really didn't.
It didn't really matter.
Well, there wouldn't have been anyone to train Rey, even though she mastered everything on her own. But at the end of the day, he was trained to do what he needed to do. He got the mission done.
Mm-hmm.
He was able to go take that year off in between high school and college, and then he went and partied. He was able to start his own academy. He was able to write he had some of the old Jedi texts, but now he was able to write his own story, write his own text, make his own class, and teach it his way. And you actually can argue that, hey, he did have a Padawan. You can say it was Leia. They did make it where they did kind of make it that he was training her.
That is true. In The Rise of Skywalker,
there is the CGI clip.
They did say, they even showed it. Yeah, he was training her.
So at the end of the day, could he have been a master? Well, if she was his Padawan, technically he's a master. If you are the only one of something, are you a master? If you're the only one who can do it.
If you are the only, like, taking the Jedi for because we're talking about it. If you're the only Jedi out there, you're the president, the vice president, you're the chairman, you're the treasurer, you're the secretary of the Jedi, because there is nobody else there. Who's going to turn around and say, no, I want to run for president of the Jedi, thanks.
I completely agree. So for me, I think during the original trilogy, I don't think he was a Jedi yet. I think in the same way that Kanan Jarrus was not a Jedi, I don't think Luke was. I think after the fall of the Empire, I think he was able to go and create his own Jedi. The next age of the Jedi started with him, and he was able to do it his way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever read the Aragon series, which a lot of people do attribute to being very similar to Star Wars, just with dragons. It's a very similar thing. There's one more dragon rider, and he goes off to start his own thing and reborn the entire.
I didn't read that.
The entire group.
Okay. And
he was the guy in charge, and that's Luke's task: rebuild the Jedi, essentially in his image.
Okay. I kind of agree with that. I do also feel that Empire Strikes Back, he was definitely a Padawan. I think by the end of Return of the Jedi, he was closer to being a Jedi, but not quite there. I think that the first 2 or 3 years, after Return of the Jedi, I think, he would be a Jedi then. But when we see him at the end of Return of the Jedi, no, I don't think he was completely a Jedi at that point. But again, it was a different time. The needs were different. It wasn't you're just one of hundreds and thousands of Jedi. It is you are the only one, and you have to now rebuild it, which is kind of what he did.
I agree.
So,
I don't think I have anything else to add to this.
What
do you got?
No, the only thing I have to say is, again, Disney. If you are going to do a Luke Skywalker series, even if it's a mini-series, which I like mini-series.
Oh, yeah, 3 to 5 episodes. I love those.
Limited series is great.
Hatfield and McCoy. Loved it.
Do the Luke Skywalker series. Show us him becoming more of a Jedi and growing as a Jedi.
I would love to see the things that he comes up with, because those books only say so much.
Yeah.
He only learns so much. He's going to come up with new techniques, things that were not being used. You never saw Force Crush.
As we said, it's that was then, and this is now. And here we are, really his generation and younger grew up in a world or universe without a Jedi. They heard stories, but they didn't know any Jedi. There were no Jedi. So, what am I going to do? Sit there and have these people, follow these strict rules that the Jedi of the Republic had? No. Why would I do that? I need to make up my own. I need to make the Jedi what they need to be now.
There you go.
So.
All right.
All right.
You good?
I'm good. Like we've been saying, we love to hear your comments. We really do. So please keep commenting. We'd love to hear from you. And stay tuned for our next episode. Whatever it may be, in whatever form, because we are doing different forms. So I'm Adam.
I'm Steve, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, guys, we appreciate the support. We appreciate, even if you just come in to watch and you go, hey, you know what? I'm going to keep watching this. We very much appreciate everything. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let your voices be heard. If you guys have a topic you'd like us to talk about, put in a comment, put in an email, hit us up on Facebook. Just, we're out there all over social media. I'll put the links we'll put the links in below. And once again, thank you, and we'll see you guys next time on the Errant Venture.
May the Force be with you.